Well, Bama Nation, what did you think? What did you think? Kalen DeBoer, first press conference as the Alabama head football coach today to start spring practice. We're rocking and rolling right here, right now. Hottest show on the streets for your Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, coming to you from the home location on this evening. I know. But on Wednesday, be back in studio providing you non-stop coverage from the Birmingham area on your Crimson Tide. But for now, do me a favor right now. For now, smash that subscribe button right now. Hit subscribe, get locked on, get tuned in to your number one show, giving you non-stop Bama coverage. Hit that like button. Give us that thumbs up right there. We appreciate the support coming from all of you. The daily Super Chat go $100 daily. Super Chat go $100 right there. We appreciate that from all of you. You guys getting into it, helping us out here on the show, the network, and the channel. But like I said today, Kalen DeBoer, first press conference of spring football as the new Alabama head man, the new Crimson Tide head football coach following the first day of spring ball. And before we even get into that and how that went, gotta show some love so far to my man Greg Messick, Roll Tide Roll, coming from Greg. Roll Tide to you, Greg. Appreciate you being in here and more of you being able to come in here and be a part of your favorite program right here, Alabama football. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. But we're going to get into the conversation right now. First and foremost, we look at the Kalen DeBoer press conference that happened today. And for me, it was a lot of high energy, great expectations for him. He talked about competition. He is really in on competition. He spoke on it, guys. It's our first day of practice, first time out there. Guys, high energy from the snap of the whistle. We're trying to get this relationship built here. We're trying to get the sea legs under us. We're trying to establish some kind of understanding here. But He loved the energy. He loved the enthusiasm. He loved the effort of the players out there on the practice field. He loved the enthusiasm, the energy, the effort of the coaching staff, trying to get these guys to understand the philosophy that he wants to run both offensively, defensively, and special teams as well. But DeBoer mentioned a competition across the board. He wants it at quarterback. There was a big quarterback question that came up. Hey, you really like Jalen Milroe. You took a selfie with him at the Alabama men's basketball game. Is he the guy? Is he taking the reps with the ones? What do you like here with Jalen Milroe? And DeBoer said, look, he's taking reps with the ones, but everybody else is too. We got other guys here just as hungry. We got other guys here just as competitive. We got other guys here that want it just as bad as he does. Coach Katie talked about it. We have other guys here that want it just as bad as Milroe. We like him. We like what he brings. We like what he can provide. But we have other guys here in this quarterback room just as hungry as he is. So the competition is across the board at every position. That's kind of a thought that I got from Coach DeBoer's first press conference on today. Now, he was very excited to talk about one Keon Sabb, the transfer from Michigan. Sabb, a defensive back, a New Jersey native that helped Michigan win a college football playoff national championship and won a Big Ten title as well. And he said, hey, Keon Sabb, when you bring a guy in here like that, the character that he is, the athlete that he is, the football player that he is, like we're looking forward to seeing what he can do for us on the field in the fall. So Coach KD sees Keon Sabb as somebody that can make an impact for Alabama secondary in the coming fall. Starting off this spring, but in the coming fall, he's looking at Keon Sabb as somebody that can make an impact here for the Crimson Tide football team in the secondary. Keon Sabb, somebody of whom can play corner or safety. Which spot would he fit better at in the Kane Womack defense? That remains to be seen. He could fit very well at safety. He really could. And that could be Keon Sabb and Devontae Smith at both safety positions. But if you bring him down to corner, then that allows for you to have Devontae Smith and Tony Mitchell at both safety spots, which could be very interesting as well. So DeBoer likes what Keon Sabb can do, likes what he brings, intrigued by how much can he be impactful for Alabama. But this was day one. He likes the energy of the coaching staff. He likes the energy of the players. Your first day out there at practice, you're moving around, you're getting acquainted, and some people reacquainted with things. So it was intriguing. It was interesting. It opened your eyes to some stuff. And much different from Coach Saban. I mean, Coach DeBoer was up there, folks, for what looked like, 25 minutes almost? I mean, not 25 minutes, my bad. It felt like 25 minutes, but it was about 15 to 20 minutes. 15 to 20 minutes, Coach DeBoer was up there. I mean, with Coach Saban in the previous regime, Saban will be up there between, 5 to 7 minutes, depending on his mood. He wouldn't be up there a long time. But DeBoer was up there 15 to 20 minutes, took several questions, answered them in great detail, provided you with a lot of analysis on what he thinks, how he feels, what he's the most excited about. Starting spring practice, putting his ideas in place, putting his philosophy in place, putting his stamp on some things here. So very good press conference. Now, yours truly, I didn't get a chance to really throw my question in there as I would have liked to. Of course, I was controlling the camera there, for the staff here at Touchdown Alabama Magazine. So I was there controlling the camera there, so I wasn't able to ask the question that I wanted to. But moving forward here in spring ball, definitely we'll be getting those thought-provoking questions out to not just Kalen DeBoer, but the coaching staff and the players as well. But just for me, being in the room, me being in the atmosphere, me being in the presence of Coach DeBoer, really enjoyed getting a feel for what he had to say, getting a feel for his intensity, getting a feel for his energy, his enthusiasm in the room, and just excited to see what he does with each spring practice moving forward to the A-Day game, and just providing that excitement, because a lot of you as fans were commenting in the chat line, can he bring Bama back to the promised land? Can he bring Bama back to a national championship? It's been a 3-year championship drought here. A lot of you guys are mentioning, can he bring that work mentality? Can he bring that toughness? Can he bring that excellence? Can he bring that exceptional play? Can he bring all of that from a head coaching perspective? And he wants to do that. He wants to do those things, and he knows it all starts with getting the best guys on the field, getting the best athletes on the field, and developing them to be, at their best. He talked about the new technology going on right now with the quarterbacks having the communication inside the headset, and they work with that today, and it was trial and error a little bit. Sometimes the quarterbacks put their hand to their ear, hey, I can't quite hear the call. Can you turn it up a little bit louder? Trying to hear the call here, but for the most part, it looked like the technology worked out pretty decently. Looked like the technology worked out there pretty well as they continue to get the kinks figured out with that. I think that'll be an asset for Alabama football. That'll be something that will help out the quarterback room, will help out Nick Sheridan as the offensive coordinator or the co-OC and quarterback coach. It'll be something that will help out, Kalen DeBoer as well. So that was a good part there of the conversation tonight with him. And just a lot of newness. A lot of stuff that's new, a lot of stuff that's different, but overall, took a lot of positive there from the Kalen DeBoer first press conference of spring ball. But let's get to some of your comments right here. Let's get to some of your comments. We got my guys. Roll Tide and Rise Up. Roll Tide family. Appreciate Roll Tide and Rise Up. Absolutely Roll Tide and Rise Up in here. We got my guy GT18 in here with Roll Tide. Roll Tide there, GT18. We know we got some trolls in here, Roll Tide and Rise Up. We know that. And he writes in, we are not going to allow trolls to come in here with nonsense. Absolutely. We got the trolls in here. But hey, we welcome everybody. We bring them on. Greg Messick writes in, do you think Milroe will be better at wide receiver? I think, Greg, he's a good quarterback. He doesn't need to change positions. I mean, the guy last year, first-year starter, Tommy Reese as your OC. He nearly throws for 3,000 yards, 2,834. He has 35 total touchdowns. He got better game by game. I mean, there's just small things for Miro to tweak up. It's not like it's anything just glaring that, oh, God awful. No, just small things that he needs to tweak up. Just small things that he needs to get better at. The 10 to 15-yard throws into the boundary, 10 to 15-yard passes on each side of the boundary. Yes, that. Also, the awareness to not hold on to the ball so long and make those decisions quickly when he gets his hands on the football, when he gets the snap. Yes, those things have to be tweaked up. Those things have to be improved. But having him switch to wide receiver, no. I think he's a good quarterback. Just some things there to definitely tweak up there. That coming from Greg Messick here. GT18 writes in, that's right. No trolls allowed. They always come crawling out. Keyboard warriors, man. Hey, they do what they do. They do what they do, GT. They do what they do. Curtis White writes in, roll, Tide, roll. Can't wait for A-Day. Curtis, we all can't wait. We're all excited. We're all on pins and needles here. We're all pumped up for it. First press conference with Kalen DeBoer after spring practice was today. Coach KD had a lot of interesting things to say. A lot of good stuff as well. High energy first day of practice. Let's see here. The Bama Standard Network writes in, my guys, Justin Riley, comedy legend and star of the show, Steve Brown, Marvin Constant, Bo Scarborough, And yours truly also. Bama Standard Network writes in, I love what Coach DeBoer said when it came down to earning your position. He kept saying, we're starting over. Coach also emphasized the importance of first impression. He did say constantly, we're starting over. We're hitting the reset button. What does that tell me? He's tied to nobody. It's if you are the man, show him and this staff you are that man. Like, I loved it. When he said constantly, we're starting over, we're encouraging competition, we're embracing competition, we want competition, we desire that across the board. Really enjoyed him talking about that every single time. GT18 writes in, me too, competition is very important. We want the best players out there. We want Bama fans, y'all want the best at each position. Doesn't matter what the classification is. Bama Nation wants the best here at each position. So it was very refreshing hearing Coach DeBoer talk about we're starting over and we're hitting the reset button. If you're the guy, show us. If you're the guy, step it up. If you're the guy, make us play you. If you are the guy. Mike Coleman writes in, roll tide, Steven, roll tide to you, Mike. Happy to be here with you on a Monday evening after the first press conference of the Kalen DeBoer era following spring practice. Don Parker, DP, writing in, roll tide, everyone, roll tide to you, Don Parker. Happy to have you in here helping us out on the show. We got here Mike Coleman writes in, number 4 is QB1, roll tide. Jalen Milroe is a quarterback, not a receiver, is a quarterback. Things we don't like to talk about writes in, stop addressing the people that suggest Milroe should be a wide receiver. I mean, they brought a question to the table. I'm just addressing the question. When somebody brings your question to the table, you need to answer the question. You got to address the question in the room there. So that is exactly what I did there. DJ German writes in, roll tide to you, DJ. Happy to have you in the building, helping us all out here. You guys are getting your thoughts in. Appreciate all of that. Roll tide and rise up writes in, we need that competition. Makes everyone better. Absolutely. You need it. It makes everyone better when you got people competing at the highest level, putting their best out there, putting their most quality work out there. You want best on best. You want good on good. You want iron sharpening iron. That's what you want. That's no doubt what you want out there. We got Alfred Freeman writes in, with expectations too high for this team to make the playoffs with new staff and players first year. Expectations wouldn't be going to have teams with 1 loss, 2 loss, possibly a 3-loss team, maybe a 3-loss team getting into the playoffs. So the expectations not too high at all to make the playoff. I mean, Coach DeBoer mentioned when he first got here, he wanted this challenge to be the successor to Nick Saban. He wanted this challenge to take over as the Alabama football head coach, and he knew the pressure that came with it. So when you want this challenge, you understand this challenge, and you understand the pressure that comes in with undertaking this challenge, you know the expectations are going to be high because it's Bama football. It just means more. The place where legends are made. You know this place is going to demand the utmost out of you. Absolutely. Christian Hughes writes in, roll tide, Stephen M. Roll tide to you, Christian. Happy to have you in here. Bama Standard Network writes back in, something new today. They had music playing at practice. Ooh! They had music going. Wonder who were the top artists they had playing in there. So they had music going at the day's practice. Appreciate that from the Bama Standard Network right there. We got DJ German writing back in. Steven, who you think will step up in the wide receiver room? I think Kendrick Law steps up. I think Kobe Prentice steps up. I think Jalen Hale steps up. I think Jeremy Bernard, the transfer from Washington, steps up. I think Emmanuel Henderson steps up. Those are the guys right there. So you got Prentice, Law, Hale, Bernard, Emmanuel Henderson. All of those guys, I see all of them stepping up. Absolutely. Those are the guys right there. We got things we don't like to talk about. That's his great job, though, on me addressing the question there on Mill Row. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate that. Here we go. James Haywood with that $5 donation. Dropping the love in here on a Monday. Appreciate you, Jason Haywood. He writes in, Big James Smith needs to see the field this year. I think he'll be an absolute beast. Roll Tide, James Smith, the big-time defensive lineman recruit, former 5-star from Carver High School in Montgomery. Dude's an animal. Needs to be on the field. Dude's an animal. Can be a really big playmaker here for Alabama's defensive front. And Jason, I agree with you. He needs to be on the field. He needs to see action. He needs to be one of the key cogs in that rotation under Freddie Roach as the D-line coach and associate, head coach here for your Crimson Tide. But really like James Smith and want to see what he can do here on the field. But we're going to go to our first break here, folks. Don't touch that dial. Just getting you started here. When we get back, we're going to dive into the conversation of guys switching their jersey numbers here. So some guys that you're going to need to be on the lookout here in terms of players that have made a switch here in their jersey number. We'll get to that on the other side of this break here. Check out our partners, Alumni Hall, what they have to say as we take a word here now from them. We're out here at Alumni Hall in Tuscaloosa. Oh, yeah, gotta get this. Gotta get one of these right here. Can't rock that Bama without this shirt right here, fresh polo. You gotta also rock the all pink, like Kanye West right there. Keychains, gotta get you some keychains. University of Alabama keychains. I'm telling you, if you are a die-hard Alabama fan and you're looking for some big-time apparel, this place has got everything. We're talking shirts, shoes, sweatshirts, hoodies, cups, mugs, keychains. If you're just a Tide fan that has an itch to get more apparel, get more swag in your game, you come right here at Alumni Hall in Tuscaloosa, right here in Midtown Village. And also you can shop online. The link is in the description to get your gear right here at Alumni Hall. Absolutely. Check them out right now. Alumni Hall in Tuscaloosa, Midtown Village. They got you right there. They got you right there, Alumni Hall. Appreciate those guys. As we're back into the action from the break, we now look at topic 2 of the conversation. So if you checked out RollTide.com, team website, RollTide.com, there have been several jersey changes to open spring practice. You have the new freshman enrollees. They've picked out their jerseys. You've got the transfer guys that came in. They got their jersey numbers. And then you got, the veteran experienced players. They've made some alterations, some changes here to their jersey number as well. So if you go to RollTide.com, you'll see that. If you also go to TouchdownAlabama.com, TouchdownAlabama.com, if you go right there, we got stories here on the jersey changes. But as we look at here, some guys that have changed their jersey numbers for U.S. fans for A-Day, to keep your eye on these, to highlight these names here. Number 1, veteran linebacker Deontay Lawson, no longer 32. He's now number 0. He is Agent 0. Deontay Lawson becoming the first player in Bama football history to wear number 0. That's Deontay Lawson. When you look at defensive back Damani Jackson, the transfer from USC, he will wear number 1. Damani Jackson will wear number 1. Defensive back Keon Sabb, the transfer from Michigan, will wear number 3. Keon Sabb will be number 3. You got Jeremy Bernard, transfer wide receiver from Washington, will wear number 5. Jeremy Bernard, number 5. Austin Mack, transfer quarterback from Washington, will wear number 10. Austin Mack's got number 10. Defensive lineman Jaheim Otis, who changed a letter of his name, going from Jaheim, Jaheim, to Jeheim, Jaheim. So Jaheim Otis goes from number 91 to number 10. So Otis will wear number 10 now as a defensive lineman. Jihad Campbell goes from number 30 to number 11. Campbell will wear number 11. You got Jamarian Latham, defensive lineman. Latham going from number 93 to number 20. So Jamarian Latham, number 20 now. LT Overton, the transfer from Texas A&M, defensive lineman, will wear number 22. So LT Overton, 22. Naquil Bertrand, transfer offensive tackle from Texas A&M, will wear number 65. So Bertrand will have number 65. Parker Brailsford, the transfer from Washington, offensive lineman center. So Brailsford will wear number 72. Brailsford's got 72. And then Josh Cubas, transfer tight end from Washington, will wear number 80. So those are your veteran guys and transfers with their jersey number changes right there. Be sure you guys to highlight those. So when you get to the A-Day game on Saturday, April 13th at Bryant-Denny, 3 p.m. Central Time, you will not be fumbling and bumbling through, okay, who is this guy? Who in the world is that guy? Why did the jersey number change? We got you covered right here, in my own words, hottest show on the streets here, with the jersey number changes for all of those guys. So you go to rolltide.com to check that out. Also, you can go to tdalabama.com, tdalabama.com right there to get those jersey changes there for your current guys for Alabama, your transfer guys that came in, and also your freshman enrollees. But that's going to be cool. I mean, that's cool when you sit there and you see guys making the jersey number changes. You're like, oh, that's interesting there. It's going to be fun to watch. How does this guy perform in this number? How does that guy perform in that number? Will the number make any bit of a difference? I mean, having Deontay Lawson wear number 0, that's got to be kind of cool, right? Because we've never had a player in Bama football history rock that number. Like, we never had an Agent 0 in Bama football history. So it's the first time for that. Like, it's the first time for everything. That's going to be pretty intriguing, pretty fun to watch that take place on the field. But we're going to get back into the chat line to get some of your comments here. Let's see here. We got Scott on YouTube. Roll Tide, Coach KD presser was awesome. So Scott was very happy with Coach KD's press conference there. Happy to see that. Everybody got to get the keychains there. Roll Tide and Rise Up, loving the commercial there. Everybody get your keychains at Alumni Hall. Get that for sure. I will be at the A-Day game this year as a fan. So fans, if you're trying to find me at the A-Day game, link up with me, hook up with me. I will be there, as a fan, taking it all in, the annual spring game there. We got Sam, who writes in, Steve, the media availability at practice, is it a good or bad thing? And can you please explain the plus and minuses of having the media at practice? All right, so I think having the media there, it's a good thing, because especially if everybody in the media can keep that trust factor going with Coach KD and his staff and the athletics department, right? I mean, that's the main thing. If you're not out there, doing something that you got no business doing, then it's a good working relationship. It's when you're out there, trying to pry and find things to report that doesn't need to be reported. That's where you get into trouble at there. It's where you're trying to make something out of absolutely nothing, but you can get yourself into trouble there. But I think it's a positive thing to have media availability at practice, especially if we all can work together and hone in on that trust factor relationship that Coach DeBoer wants to have happen. Now, the plus and the minuses of having the media at practice, the plus there is you, the fans, you can see what's going on at practice to the eyes of the media. That's a plus because when we're not there, of course, you, the fans, you don't get a chance to really see a bird's eye view of what's going on. You can see the bird's eye view from us, the media, being there, getting the videos, getting the footage, getting the material, getting all of that. So that's a plus there. When you have media there taking video, taking photos, having practice reports, doing that type of thing, that really helps. That really helps. Now, in terms of the minus, now in terms of those are the pluses of being there. All the minuses of the media of having the media practice. I guess the minuses of having the media practice is, sometimes coaches don't want you seeing certain things, especially if those certain things are geared toward what they're trying to use in a game. And if the media is there and they're looking at certain things that the team is trying to use in the game to prepare themselves for an opponent, that's probably one of the areas where you probably would not want the media there. But I see way more positive than negative. I see way more positive than negative. I see the main thing is everybody has a cooperative working relationship where there's trust. Because when there's trust there, things can get done. When there's trust there, there's a happy medium. There's a happy medium. Let's see here. The Bama Standard Network writes in, when you say doing things you have no business doing, do you mean Steve? Hey, look, man, Steve has got to return his stuff. Steve has got to return that stuff to the Bryant Museum now. When Steve returned that stuff off his Etsy to the Bryant Museum, then we can let Steve back in the room, man. Steve Brown got to return that stuff, man. He got to return that stuff. Let's see. Sam says, when will you be back in the media room, Steve? So I'll be back in there Wednesday. So Wednesday I'll be back in there. Not Coach DeBoer, but it'll be practice for the media on Wednesday, the first media viewing period. And then you'll have, I think, the offensive coordinator, Nick Sheridan, Jamarcus Shepard, and some offensive players will be speaking as well. So Wednesday I will be back there in the media room. So be back there on Wednesday. Let's see. Don Parker writes in, question for Steve. Coach KD has indicated that there is competition at all positions. What are some of the position battles that stand out going to the spring? Thank you, Steve. Well, one of them is definitely at cornerback. That's a major position battle. We know Damani Jackson is going to be more than likely one corner, could be, but the corner opposite of him, that's a position battle. You got Jaleel Hurley, who's the lone scholarship defensive back from the 2023 class, but you got some young guns behind him when you talk Drake Kirkpatrick Jr., Jalen Mbakwe, Xavier Brown, Xavier Mincy. You got guys behind him. Rydarius Morgan, you got guys behind him. So which one of these freshman corners can take that step there? So you got battle there at that cornerback spot in the secondary. Another interesting battle is going to be, at the offensive tackle positions, guys. Like, you got your interior offensive line back. When you look at Tyler Booker and Jaden Roberts, you bring over Parker Brausford from the portal. He did a great job at Washington playing center. But your two offensive tackles, who are they going to be? Can Elijah Pritchett hang on and take a tackle position? Or does Naquil Bertrand, the transfer from A&M, grab a tackle spot? Do we look at maybe one of these guys from the 2023 class, that massive haul of linemen? When you look at Wilkin Formby, Miles McVay, Ola Sanganine, can one of those guys take a spot? Like, offensive line primarily, offensive tackle is going to be huge. That spot is going to be extremely huge there on the offensive line. So those just some position battles off the top of my head. Of course, everyone's going to talk quarterback, right? Jalen Milroe, yes, the returning starter, but you got other guys behind him hungry to make an impact. And then you have the wide receiver room. Who steps up to become the number one guy? Does Kobe Prentice become the number one guy? Does Kendrick Law become the number one guy? Does Jalen Hale become the number one guy? So those are just, to me, some of the position battles that stick out just early on there. We got here my guy, Roll Tide and Rise Up. I want to hear Shep. He brings that fire. Coach Shep does. Really like what Coach Shepard is doing so far. Really like what he's doing so far. So Coach Shep, really want to hear him. Eric D writes in, what are the keychains? The keychains, what I was mentioning there in that commercial, you gotta get the Roll Tide, the Crimson Tide keychains there. They're at Alumni Hall in Midtown Village in Tuscaloosa. So definitely be a part there and getting you those keychains. That could be you can have those prepared for A-Day. Get you those keychains. Get yourself prepared for A-Day. Eric D writes back in, Stephen M, I saw a video of you at the presser. I was there recording the presser, keeping my camera up. That's the reason why I didn't get my chance, Eric, to ask my question, because I was controlling the camera there. So as we continue going throughout spring ball, I'll be able to get more questions in because I will not be, holding the camera. But at that moment, I was on the camera right there. But we got my man Don Parker writes in, Shep had me motivated in that fourth quarter program video clip. Imagine Shep and Cochran. Shep had me ready to go. I mean, imagine if you would have kept Cochran and you add Jamarcus Shepard. I mean, that was crazy. That was crazy. I mean, wow, that would be unreal here. That'd be unreal. Let's see here. King. So we got Ya Warrior right in. How is our kickers coach, Stephen M? So the kickers coach, now Jay Nunez was hired in for special teams. Here's my thing. I know it says on the roster that he is a special teams analyst. Is Alabama not going to have a special teams coordinator on the field? Kind of my question right now, because you kind of need that, especially after Will Reichert goes to the NFL. You got Connor Talty, who's a good prospect, but kind of needs that coach on the field to help him out there. We'll see. But Jay Nunez was hired in to be the special teams coordinator, but on RollTide.com, they got him as a special teams analyst. I don't know. We got Jay the GOAT right in, and you was chewing out that gum. Man, I didn't have any gum, man. I didn't have any gum. I didn't have it, man. I had absolutely no gum. I didn't have it, man. Now, of course, there were guys next to me chewing gum. That probably just got into the sound feed. I didn't have any gum on me, Jay. I didn't have it, man. If I was chewing something, I was probably chewing my tongue there. I didn't have any gum on me, but it's funny. I didn't have any gum on me though, but it was funny though. Well, it was absolutely funny though. Let's see here. Eric D writes in, guys, I will be at A-Day. Meet you guys there. Well, Eric D, looking forward to seeing you, man. Looking forward to seeing you right there at the A-Day game. Sam writes in, Steve, fill in the blank. Alabama will win the SEC if. Okay. Here's the blank. Here we go. Alabama will win the SEC if that defensive line comes to play all season. Alabama will win the SEC if that defensive line plays lights out all season. I'm ready to see this rotation of his defensive line really do some stuff. Like really get after the quarterback, really stop the run. I'm ready to see this defensive line really do some stuff. So that'd be my fill in the blank right there. We got here Don Parker writes in, they actually can hire Coach Cochran to be the special teams coach. That is actually what he wanted for his career progression. Thoughts? Alabama, it comes down to Don. Does Alabama want to make that move? Right? Does Alabama want to make that move? Right? If Alabama wants to make that move of hiring Scott Cochran, then it'd be cool. But I mean, if Alabama doesn't want to make that move, then they're not going to make it. Like it all comes down to what does Kalen DeBoer, what does Greg Byrne, as the athletic director, what do they want to do in terms of making a move? So it all comes down to that. I have nothing but the utmost respect for Scott Cochran. I enjoyed everything he did and what he stood for during his time at the University of Alabama as a head strength and conditioning coach and motivator. But man, I mean, it all comes down to what does Greg Byrne and Kalen DeBoer want to do there. Todd writes in, with that 4-2-5, that D line has to be on point. It's got to. It's got to. No choice. That defensive line has got to be on point. That defensive line has got to be on its A game. And this is why you want to see the Tim Keenans, the Jaheim Otises, the Tim Smiths, the James Smiths, the Jamarian Lathams. You want to see all of these guys eat on this field because this defensive line, they got to come with it. They got to come with it every step of the way this season. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see here. Jay the Goat writes in, where are we meeting up at to watch the A-Day game? I'm going to he's going to be there. So he's going to be there watching. Of course, I mean, you got people, Jay the Goat, tailgating out there. So they'll be tailgating with their television sets out there. You definitely want to get to Tuscaloosa early. The A-Day game is at 3 on Saturday, April 15th, 3 p.m. Central Time. But to avoid all the traffic and the craziness that is driving in Tuscaloosa sometimes, you definitely want to get here early here for the start of the A-Day game and be a part of the festivities here. Eric D writes in, Scott Cochran is a master motivator when he's focused, and he was. He was a master motivator. He got everybody's mind right. He got everybody locked into what their role was, what their responsibility was, and he kept everybody even keel. They were hyped. They were focused. They were prepared, but they were even keel there. So that's what Coach Cochran did during his time. GT18 writes in, I'm more interested to see the depth progression of the D line. I know our starters will do well, but what kind of depth will we have? And that's where, in terms of depth, that's where guys like Jordan Renaud come in. That's where guys like Hunter Osborne come in. That's where guys like Isaiah Faga come in. Jeremiah Beeman comes in. Guys like Steve Mboa come in. That's the depth, right there. That's the depth right there. Those guys coming off the bench and providing that no drop-off in production, right? The starters, we expect those guys to go out there, excel, succeed, do their jobs, play their role, handle that responsibility. But the rest of those guys I just named, when they take the field, how do you go out there and play and provide no drop-off there in action? Sam goes, I'm with you, Steve. The defense and the defensive front has to show up this season. Everything starts there. It does. Everything starts with the defensive line, that rotation. When you look at having a young secondary, that defensive front has got to create a consistent, exceptional pressure to the opposing quarterback as well as stop the run. So being able to do both of those things successfully, that has to happen. That has to happen. Eric D writes in, I think our depth chart is set up better for the 4-2-5 than the 3-4 this season. I would say so. I think the depth is very much so set up better than for the 4-2-5. Just getting the guys out there, right? Just getting the guys out there, getting the best on the field, having those guys make plays. run around and make plays out there. Absolutely. Roll Tide and Rise Up writes in, my question is, do you think we will lose players after the A-Day game, being the portal will open back up, especially if they don't feel like they will start? Well, Roll Tide and Rise Up, that's always a thing, right? That's always a question. If these guys aren't starting, or if those guys are not having marquee playing time, you got to feel like they will try to test the portal once it opens back up April 15th, 2 days after the spring game. That's a Monday. So by that Monday, those guys feel like, hey, I'm not going to be a starter, or if at least I'm not going to be a marquee contributor to this squad, then let me test the portal. Let me go somewhere else where, I know I can play. So that's always a question. That's always a thought. That's always a concern. But hopefully, the main thing is that you continue to retain your main guys. Even if you lose some guys to the portal, retain as much as you possibly can and feature as many guys as you possibly can to make them understand, hey, if I stick around, I'm going to be a part of this roster. If I stick around, I can be a part of this program. If I stick around, I can be a part of what's about to happen here. Absolutely. Eric D writes back in, Ohio State got Caleb Downs, not realizing that someone else is going to leave. Not realizing that someone is going to leave. Well, Ohio State did get Caleb Downs, but you got Tony Mitchell. You got other guys here in the secondary. Don Parker continues with this thought here. In this 4-2-5, you have to have dudes on the D-line. Stopping the run and getting pressure from the quarterback in the middle is what is vital to success. We need to find those dudes. You got to have dudes there on the D-line that can affect the opposing offense. And for Kalen DeBoer, for Kane Womack, for Freddie Roach, that's the assignment. That's the assignment from spring to summer workouts to fall camp. That's the plan. Finding those dudes, finding those animals, finding those playmakers there on the defensive line, across the board there. So that's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch this, to observe this, to get our hands here on all of this. But we're going to quickly now sort of transition into the final topic here, the conversation for tonight's show. Appreciate all of you guys getting your thoughts in here. This is the final topic for tonight's show. You just look at recapping Alabama in the NFL Combine. How fun was that, y'all? Watching Bama in the NFL Combine, the annual Underwear Olympics, Lucas Oil Stadium at Indianapolis. I mean, great stuff. Dallas Turner is not human, y'all. 83, 85, 84, 85-inch wingspan on that guy. 6'2", 247 pounds, ran a 4.47 40. You kidding me? 40.5-inch vert. Nuts. I mean, Dallas Turner just showed you I'm a top 15 pick. What a combine for Dallas Turner. Terrion Arnold had a good combine. Yes, the 4.5, 140. He was not happy with that. He's going to look to get that number down at Bama's Pro Day. But aside from the 4.5, 140, did a lot of great things out there in the on-field workout, and even just had a very heartfelt moment to his mom, Miss Tamara Arnold. That was really good right there. That was really good from Terrion. And then you had Chris Braswell, who ran a 4.6 40, tying Will Anderson's 40 from the 2023 NFL Combine. That was great for Braswell. Enjoyed seeing that. You had Jermaine Burton with a 4.45 40, 38.5-inch vert. He did some big stuff there. So, I mean, it's a lot, man. It's a lot. I mean, there was a lot that was being done there. At the Combine. Some good stuff from J.C. Latham. Enjoyed what he was able to do out there. Will Riker was out at the Combine, did some stuff as well. We did not get a chance to see Kool-Aid McKinstry and Jace McClellan go through drills. Of course, Kool-Aid had a Jones fracture in his right foot. Of course, he'll be ready to go for Pro Day. Jace McClellan should be ready to go for Pro Day, which will be on March the 20th. But for everybody that went in the combine, a lot of good stuff. For everybody for Bama that went, that participated, so a lot of good stuff. Jalen Key at safety had a 4.6 40 time. So great stuff. Great stuff there. So right now you're looking at, Dallas Turner being a concrete first-round guy. Right now you're looking at J.C. Latham, concrete first-round guy. Right now you have to look at Terrion Arnold, concrete first-round guy. That's 3. And then the 4th one, if Kool-Aid McKinstry comes into Pro Day and really does some stuff, then you would have him as your 4th concrete first-round guy. So those will be, your 3 to 4 guys there that can go in this first round of the NFL draft coming up here in April. I thought Chris Braswell enhanced his stock some. I thought Jermaine Burton enhanced his stock some. So that's good to see right there. I thought Jalen Key, I did some good stuff out there. Will Reichert, how high can he go in the upcoming draft? Will be fun to watch, but it was cool being able just to sit down, to look at the combine, to take things piece by piece, bit by bit, frame by frame, and how guys performed out there on the field. But, folks, as always, you want the best in news, notes, information, coverage, entertainment on your favorite program, that being the Alabama Crimson Tide. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama magazine app. You download the app from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple. Google Play Store if you got the Android phone. For your audio needs, check us out. iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, iHeartRadio, Google Play. We got you covered right there. If the good and gracious Lord sees fit, I will be back. Look to be back in studio in the Birmingham area, taking your phone calls, your thoughts, your energy, hottest show on the streets here for all things Bama football. In my own words, I want to appreciate all of you, the Bama fans, for checking us out on this evening, bearing with us here after the Kalen DeBoer first press conference of spring ball. Had to get home here, get this to you. Appreciate you guys for hanging out, checking us out right here. Thanks to all of you. Until next time, folks, husbands, love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children, continue doing the right thing, fun thing, smart thing, good thing, legitimate thing to not be bored there. You get yourself those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself. You protect the loved ones around you. Till next time, folks, I'm your man Stephen Smith, and you've been listening to In My Own Words. See you guys on Wednesday.